Hello, Alex Smith here with the Pricing Assistant V2 preview. So one of the next feature I want to share with you is, I think, probably the most important feature we have. It's the piece that kind of brings everything together, and that is our SWOT survey component. And why this is so important, it really creates, gives more color to the data. So having just a bunch of rows and columns for rates and square feet and pricing data doesn't really help give us an understanding of who is truly our competition. How do we rank in this market? What is our position in this market? How do we get better in this market? How do we increase value in this market? All of those questions that I think we all want to solve, but we really don't have the tools to do so. And so what I'm going to share with you today is our market survey, SWOT survey process. And this will kind of share with you one way of looking at the data, how to, it also goes into every component, which is how do I price this community? How do I price the individual apartments, my community fee, all my other fees? How do I position myself from a sales and marketing standpoint? And this is really, like I said, the cornerstone of the application. So I wanted to start with this one first. So we're going to go into a profile here, and I'll show you how to take that market study. We're going to go up here to the settings section. Then we're going to go to SWOT survey. Within the SWOT survey, you're going to have a drill down here of all your communities. And then as you drill down there, it'll match up with your competitors. And we'll do a quick example here. So you're going to go 1v1 with each of your top 5 competitors, and you're going to rank them. So the same, better, worse, or much better or much worse on a 5-point scale. This will evolve into a scoring mechanism. Each one of these categories receives a score, and then each one of these categories is weighted based on at least the perceived importance to the residents and their families in that buying process. And so you're going to go all the way through, answer these questions. It gets very granular. And part of the reason why we did that was we were always seeing, in my experience, always seeing a lot of SWOT analysis or SWOT reports that we would send out, and they'd be the 4 squares. You'd have strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and we'd have people type in their answers to that. And a lot of it was, somewhat very fluffy answers. And we have the best caregivers, and we have great tenure, but really nothing like very thorough and comprehensive. And so this is a way to do that. And I'll share with you, once these are completed with your top 5 competitors, minimum 3, 5 is good if you need to go more, but we recommend you really isolating who you determine your families are considering and isolating it down to that top 3 to 5. So in the next screen here, I'm going to show you the dashboard that comes out of this. And there's a number of ways these scores are used. And one of those ways is it actually is a factor in the pricing algorithm. It's also can help with price positioning and promoting from a sales and marketing standpoint, truly understanding your differentiators in the market. And then from a operational CapEx, strategic planning component, to be able to plan out how do we increase our value in this market. What are the things that we can do that will actually change our position or drive value to families and residents in this particular market? So there's actually 4 graphs that come out of once that SWOT analysis process is completed. And the one is just kind of generally, what is my ranking? Where's my score? In this particular example, the client community is ranked kind of right in the middle. You got 2 communities that are ranked higher and 2 communities that we ranked lower. This below graph here goes into a rate versus rating comparison. So on the y-axis here, you're going to see how you've rated that community. So the higher up they are, the higher we've rated that community. But on the x-axis, the further down to the right, the higher the rate on average. So this just starts to beg the question of rate and value should be aligned kind of on a diagonal. So the higher the rating, the higher the potential value or rate that can be driven at that community. Theoretically, it doesn't. It's not always 100%, obviously, because these communities here that are listed at a much higher rate but a lower value, there could be a reason for that. It could be that they are 100% occupied, they're 95% occupied, and my community's 60% occupied. We're trying to recover, so that's kind of why we're that. So it just begs the questions, that kind of first place to start. The next set of graphs will go, and charts will go much more uh, in detail on those particular categories, so we can go very specifically into what we feel like are our strengths from a sales standpoint, right? We all want to be everything to everybody, but we all know that each one of our communities has its own value, its own unique uh, uh, strengths and value for residents. And sometimes it's the right fit, sometimes it's not the right fit. But just to see those clearly, I think helps the sales team, helps the field team, the executive directors really understand. Here's what we need to continue to be proud of and excited about, and let's focus on those things. So on the next set of graphs here, I'll show you that. So on this set of graphs here, you got two graphs here. This is going to show you on average how you've ranked your competitors on average against yourself. So after you've completed those 3 to 5 to 7 surveys, then it will culminate into this, and it'll show you on average in this market, in this example, we've ranked our competitors as much better in these 4 categories. So reputation, pricing, apartment amenities, and location. But on the flip side, we've also ranked ourselves better at all of these areas. So community amenities, our feel, our life enrichment, our activities program, our website and our social media experience, our dining experience, our care services experience. We know that these are the areas in this market that we need to really emphasize, because the customers, the families, the residents that are looking at our competition, they're already seeing this. And the fact that we know that very clearly, we can point those things out in our sales process or in our marketing messaging process. And obviously from a sales standpoint, we're always going to do discovery. We're going to, obviously focus on those particular needs and things that are important to that family that's in front of it. But this can really help us guide us a little bit better as far as what we really try to focus our attention on when we're having that conversation. But on the another side of this is from a strategic planning, from an executive leadership standpoint, how can we help our communities be successful? How can we strategically allocate resources, capital, time to improve ourselves in a position in a market that's going to help us provide more value to seniors and their family in this market, and therefore hopefully increase rate or increase occupancy, because we're able to do that. And so example I always use is the CapEx process, something that always frustrated me in my career, and that was kind of how we looked at it. I felt like it always felt a little bit non-data driven, kind of ad hoc. I think we should renovate the lobby, or they haven't had new carpet in a while. But there's some markets that, and obviously resources are not limitless, right? So and there's some markets that maybe the whole renovating the whole apartment isn't even necessary. But if I renovated very specific items of apartment, that could be enough to move the dial in a particular market. So example I use here is apartment amenities. So let's say you have some CapEx dollars and you want to allocate some of those resources to some apartment renovations. And so you can drill down into any of these, and you can see below, you'll be able to kind of drill down into particular categories and see what are our strengths and weaknesses in a very detailed type of way. So I'll use the apartment amenities example. In this example here, the line represents your community, so that's the baseline, and the bars represent the competitor score. So anything above the bar, we've ranked our competitors as better in that category, and then the line represents what we feel like is important to the customer, to the family, in that order. and this is all somewhat subjective and it's customizable. Of course, we can kind of rely on resident survey data or post-tour data and so forth. Right now, this is kind of set in this way. And so in this example, I may, if I have a very limited amount of CapEx dollars, with I don't think anyone has unlimited, I may want to focus on these major areas: storage space, bathroom vanity, apartment size options, and kitchen cabinets and countertops. And so the idea is that we can strategically allocate capital in order to move the dots, what I call moving the dots closer to the center. We get to the same, or maybe we moved it all the way to the top, which is also going to contribute to your overall score, again, which also goes into the rent roll and the pricing process. So anyway, this is everything that we have here on the market survey. We're going to continue to advance this, continue to add more automated data points, but very excited about where this has come, and really excited about the results we're seeing for the communities that are using this, that are doing taking the time to do a deep analysis of each market by using this tool and really understanding how they can provide more value in each market. Thank you so much for taking the time, and I look forward to talking to you soon.